Hello everyone and welcome to Flight Simulator X, which is Microsoft Flight Simulator 10. And this is my very first video that I'll be posting to the YouTube page. And today we're going to be doing more of a tutorial flight and going over some of the flight basics with the one of the easiest aircraft to fly on the sim, which is the default Cessna Skyhawk 172. And we're also going to be doing some VOR flight. If you don't know what VOR is, it's a type of radio navigation that pilots use all over the country to help find their way around without using a GPS, so you can get to different destinations. And it's pretty cool, but it takes some practice. And we'll go ahead and get underway here. So just doing a quick visual inspection of the outside of the aircraft. As you can see, I got both doors open. Move the ailerons. Looks good. Elevator, rudder, and I'm assuming the throttle's probably working in there, so that's the way that's going to work. And the airport we're starting at today is Kalispell City Airport. The ICAO code for that is CR27 or S27, and we're starting at parking 15 here down near the end of the runway, and we're just going to be doing some VOR flying and some basic traffic patterns. And I'm in a multiplayer mode right now, so we won't have to worry about any of the aircraft or ATC or anything like that, so that'll be a nice plus for us. So we'll have the airspace all to ourselves. Let's go ahead and get in the cockpit here and we'll get underway. So I'm using the Logitech X3D Pro joystick to change the view on the aircraft, and as you can see here, we're just using the default. We're not using the Garmin 1000 cockpit. We're just using our normal controls, so I can show you guys how to use the the VOR navigation, which will be up here, and on the comm panels as well. So first thing we're going to do here is pressing Shift 1. We're going to bring up the main flight board, and we're going to go ahead and turn on avionics, and we're going to go and hit the master battery, which is turning everything on right now. We're going to go and hit our fuel pump, get the fuel flowing to the engine. We'll shut that off once the engine's running, and we'll go ahead and turn on our beacon light. And let's see, I think that's all, and we'll hit the panel lights. Current temperature right now is 74 degrees, so it's very warm out right now, and we're going to go ahead and leave that alone for now. Alright, looks good. Prop control, let's see, there's my throttle. Prop control is one of these in here. I don't remember quite which one, but that's alright. We're doing okay there. Let's not worry about that. So up here, let's see. Fuel shut off. Okay. We're going to leave the rest of our lights off for now. Checking our trims, looking over our fuel selectors on both. And so for the VOR terms, we're doing navigation. What we're going to do, let me first calibrate my altimeter. I have that set up as Control P to calibrate the pressure. We're going to set our nav1 frequency over here. This is COM1 for communications, and nav, meaning navigation. We're going to set nav1 over here to the frequency of the FCA VOR, which actually it's a VOR DME, so I can actually measure the distance, which is 113.2 last time I checked. And we're going to switch that, and you can see right there that the dial moved on the VOR for the OBS, which is the Omni Bearing Selector, I believe is. I learned that in aerospace. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the dial until that arrow goes straight up and down. Getting closer. Okay, so that means we have to turn to a heading of 050 upon takeoff to line up with the, we're going to fly to, that's what that little triangle means right there, we're going to fly to the 050 radial coming off the FCA VOR. So right now we'd be on about the looks like 230 coming from the tower if we wanted to do it that way. And we're going to leave nav1 off right now, but we're not going to turn it on because it'll make that beeping noise for you flyers out there that know about VOR navigation. It's just the code to help identify what the radio sounds like, or what the VOR sounds like, so we'll go ahead and leave that off for now, but we'll turn it on once we get near. And it says I'm 5.5 nautical miles away. My speed course is 0. And we're going to go and set the autopilot up. We'll go to 4,000. I wish I could read that a little bit better. There we go. There's my comm panel. And we'll go ahead and climb out. We'll just let the autopilot decide what speed we'll climb out on, so we'll just go and work with that. As far as GPS goes, we're not going to use that today. We don't really need it unless we want to check our positions, so we're not really doing a full flight plan. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and turn on our nav and strobe lights. And I'm going to go ahead and shut my exit over here by Shift E2. That's closed, and we're going to close the main exit, which is Shift E. That's closed and locked. Alright, looks like we're looking good there. And our mixture is down. It's completely leaned out right now. And we're going to go ahead and set flaps. Position 1 for take. Let me see actually how many positions I have here. 2, 3. Okay, I have 3, so that's a little bit too much. That's better. We'll go ahead and set those like that for takeoff. Now I'm going to stay outside the cockpit for just a minute. And we're going to go ahead and release the parking brake by the joystick button controls. And we're going to press Shift P2 to push back to the right. You can see right there we're pushing back to the right. If I push Shift P normal, we just push straight back. So this helps us get out away from the buildings so we can face away from them, and then we can just taxi straight out. And we'll just take off runway 13 over here. We're not really concerned about the wind right now at this time. Go to reset the parking brake, and we're going to go ahead and start the engine. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and jump back in the cockpit, and I'm going to set mixture to full rich.
User joined your channel. User left your channel.
And sorry about that, guys. My TeamSpeak 3 is open right now. I know you guys can't see that. If you guys see me clicking in a dark area, it's because you can't see the desktop screen. I just have it on game capture right now for the OBS, which is what I'm using for the software to record this. I have it on game capture right now. So we're gonna go ahead and start the plane up here. Start the engine. We have the throttle all the way back. We got the prop control set. Let me see, where is... Okay, I guess this plane may not have a prop control. I'm not quite sure on that. So we're going to take the key over here and we're going to turn it all the way to the right. And our oil pressure's coming up. And we got good prop control here. We're going to want to see if I can get my prop up to about... Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now, actually. I think it'll be alright. Let's go bring our prop RPM up to about 1700. We're just going to do a pre-run-up check here. This is what the checklist in the FSX recommends. You can see I'm kind of moving here, so I'm going to have to be careful about this. We're going to set our magneto to the other one. Got our drop. Alright, put it back to both. Alright, pull the power back. Alright, that looks good. Okay, cool. So now we're going to release the parking brake, and we're going to turn on the rest of our lights, except for the landing. We'll turn those on when we hit the runway. We got our taxi lights on, and here's what the aircraft looks when it's lit up without the landing lights out here. So we're going to go ahead and taxi out, and I have the volume of the simulator, turned down so you guys can hear me a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and turn on nav 1, which is for the VOR. I won't leave that on for very long because it does get annoying after a while. That's the indicator of what our VOR sounds like. That's how you identify it. Clear. Okay, runway looks good. Nobody coming in on final, so we're going to go ahead and taxi out. And the rotation speed, I believe, will be around about 60 knots, so we'll get off the ground here pretty quick. So right off the takeoff, we're going to turn to a heading of 050 to head to the 050 radio on the FCA VOR. So, alright guys, here we go. Alright, throttle's at full. And there's about 40 knots. Airspeed is alive. Looks like we're making good power. There's V1. Rotating. And V2. And notice I'm not saying positive rate gear up because this aircraft does not have retracts. I will say positive rate because we are climbing away from the airfield. And I'm going to go ahead and raise the flaps. Hopefully can keep our speed up here. We're just on the brink of 60 knots, so we got to be kind of careful on that. Actually, I'm going to set the auto mixture so it'll lean the engine out just a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and engage. Whoops, wrong, but Shift 2 brings up the comm panel. We're going to go ahead and hit the altitude hold, and autopilot's now automatically on, but the heading control is still going to be under our command because we want to fly towards the radio. So we're now turning towards 050, which you can see right down there on the heading indicator right here. It's moving. And we're going to go ahead and level out here. We're about 060, so we're going to go ahead and level out right around 0. We're about 055 right now, so we're not doing too bad. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this until, okay, so now we have to turn about 3030 and keep fine-tuning that until we pass right over the VOR. Still showing me a little bit off. It says I'm only 4 nautical miles away from VOR, so we have to go right about 0, so right about here. We're going to pass over it, so we're climbing to 4,000. Actually, we're going to level out right about here. And that's 4,000 feet above sea level. That's not above ground level, because you can see we're not 4,000 feet up. We're pretty low. We're probably, actually, we're 1,100 feet in the air right now, because we calibrated about 1,200, so that's kind of where we're at. And it's still showing me, it kind of drifted off to the left a little bit. Just kind of turning back. It's saying turn to about just past 03. And I think I can see it right now just out ahead of me here. And when you take basic flight training, you'll learn about this specific type of flying. I think I can see where the VOR tower actually is. Yeah, it's right there. So for those of you who maybe can't see it yet or know not what to look for, right here, that's the FCA VOR, and you can see it right here on the GPS. That's a VORTAC, or VOR DME, whichever term you prefer. And that is what we're flying to right now, as you can see, and it's right there. That is the FCA VOR. I'm going to go and shut nav1 off. And you can see it's still a bit off. And we're right on about 03, so we're right on there. I don't know if we're going to fly right over it. And you can see it. It's just a, I don't know if that's modeled correctly after what it really looks like, but that is our VOR tower for Kalispell. This was actually an assignment we had to do in aerospace. We had to do a VOR flight. We had to do it from Glacier to Polson via the FCA. So when we filed our flight plans in the GPS, we did a direct waypoint to Polson, but we added in the flight planner.
User joined your channel. User left your channel.
Sorry about that, guys. Before you go into the sim, we entered a flight plan in, which
user joined your channel. Left your channel.
Allowed us to fly that route and then head off towards Polson from there. So that's basically what we did from that point on. And right now, I'm just going to go ahead and switch off the nav1 frequency. So we're now kind of just flying out on our own. I guess I'll give you a little bit of a tour, aerial tour. You guys have never seen really around Kalispell. I'm not sure how too well and accurate this is laid out to be. If I turn off towards Glacier International Airport here, let's see. It's just off in this general direction. Yeah, there it is. Okay, right there is Glacier Park International Airport, right there. Or KFCA for old ICAO code, and now it's KGPI for the new one. And we're going to try and link up here and see if I can find Highway 2 that leads out to it from Kalispell. Your center of town would be back over in this general area, because there's the airport, that's Kalispell City, and you know Kalispell right all in this area over here. This is all Kalispell. So, you got that entire area. Over there is the entrance to Glacier Park. The canyon you look at when you're out driving on Whitefish Stage or 93 or Highway 2, it's all there. I think you can even see it from Highway 35 going to Big Fork. So right now we're just out flying towards Glacier at this point. I've got the throttle at full, which you typically don't have to have it that high, and you know, we're cruising about 100 knots right now, so we're doing pretty good. Now, as far as videos in the future, guys, I just want to kind of touch on this. I'll probably be doing some recordings of when I'm doing the landing competition for the FSX server, online multiplayer server that I participate in. I fly virtual airlines for them, do ATC communication from like a tower. I do what's called a hops flight, where we go from place to place, airport to airport, VOR, just and have fun with that, and you get promoted and all that, so it's a lot of fun. And then I'll be uploading some more videos, kind of like this one, more tutorials, probably doing some flights, GPS flights, some routes that I do.
User joined your channel. User left your channel.
And I'll probably be flying with some of my buddies on the sim on TeamSpeak. Whenever they come and talk, you can hear my TeamSpeak working in the background right now. So. That's really pretty much all I'll be doing, and you know, I'll be putting up some cool stuff, and hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. For those of you that are heavily into aviation, you know, FSX is a great game to pursue. Start your aviation, possibly career, if you want to go into aviation as a career. So, I know I want to get a pilot's license, go into that. Probably after college, though. And right now we're just coming over Glacier. As you can see right there, Highway 2 and the railroad tracks.
User joined your channel. User left your
running
channel.
Along that. And there's no aircraft here because we're the only one here. and you can see the runways, which this runway actually does exist. Did not realize that, but this runway did exist at one point. I think they took it out a while back. And this is mainly the correct layout. If you guys remember at the air show, we stood right in here to watch. If you were if you were VIP, you were right in here watching the Thunderbirds, and they had buses parked out here in this field and all that. And they came all the way back behind us and went in front of us and pretty much everywhere. So I can crank us around here a little bit harder. Cranked it around a little too hard there, but that's alright. We're doing okay. Autopilot kind of freaked out there for a second. Said I was turning too fast and I was descending, so it wanted to set the pitch trim a little bit too much on me there. So I just kind of counteracted by pushing the stick forward just a little bit, but the autopilot takes care of that with the elevator trim. Go ahead and take full control of the aircraft now at this point. Actually slow the engine down here. I'm just going to go crank us around here. You can see right down below us there, it's just the hangars. I think Two Bears hangars right around there somewhere. Two Bear Air, which is the rescue. And typically when you're driving by Highway 2, you'll see all the jets parked on the tarmac. Looks like the scenery wants to kind of glitch out on me a little bit. Oh well, that's the way it works. It does that every so often. It's just the way it is. Nothing I can do about it. So at this point, guys, I think we'll go ahead and head back to Kalispell City Airport and go ahead and land this thing and go ahead and sign off after that. Throttle back to full, and let's go ahead and get on out of here. This one, I just remembered, did I even turn the landing lights on? I did not. Huh, how about that? I didn't even turn my landing lights on. Well, that was stupid. Let's go ahead and fly back to Kalispell here. Let's give it a little bit of up trim so it'll just climb just a little bit. But yeah, I know a few people that do aviation. Seems it's been something that I've been pretty impressed with ever since I was very young. I used to watch airplanes fly over our house all the time, and I thought, boy, I want to do that someday. And I guess the easiest way I got into it was with model aviation. As most of you know, I am a model aircraft pilot. I believe this is my 9th season doing it, so been a great 9 years so far, and I look to many great years in the future. And you know, FSX isn't perfect. You know, our Kalispell scenery, it's not great. You know, they're not going to model it as detailed as, like, say, Seattle or LA or San Francisco or Dallas. I mean, it's just not as good model just because we're a smaller city and not a whole lot of stuff going on here anyway. Really is not a whole lot going on. Oops, we're trying to dive just a little bit. Trim just a little bit. So nose trim's a little sensitive on this aircraft. I'm not completely sure why it's that sensitive, but I'd say we got it. I'd say we got it pretty good there. Looks like our ADI is mostly centered. But I guess as long as we're flying back, I might as well give you guys a little bit, just a bit of a cockpit tour here. So over here, we'll start from the left and go to the right. So over here we have the fuel gauge, which tells us how much gas we have in our fuel tanks. Very important. This down here is the oil temperature. This right here is the fuel flow for the engines. We have our clock, which is in UTC, which is Universal Time Code, and we have our temperature. This is what's called the this is our speed indicator, which tells us how fast we're going. This is our turn indicator, which tells us if there's any wind. That dot will, move from side to side, depending on if there's any wind. I just did that with the rudder, just hit the rudder pedals. This is called the ADI, or it's our artificial horizon indicator. We have our heading indicator, which tells us which direction we're flying. Altimeter, which tells us how high we are above the ground, which is ASL, above sea level, but not above ground level. So it's very important you know what ground level you start at. Go and drop the flaps here one position, and then this right here is our vertical speed indicator, how fast we're descending or ascending if we're in a turn. This is the VOR indicators I've already gone off. This is a secondary VOR, and this down here I am not even sure what that is. That's our prop RPM indicator. And then on the comm panels we've got comms, navs, your transponder code, autopilot panel, stuff like that. You got your ability to switch between navigation and GPS control and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool system how it works out. I think our flaps are down. Yep, flaps are down all the way. We want to touch down at about, I want to say about probably 50 knots or so. We're a little fast. And if we're coming in right now, if this was accurately pictured on the Scenery Legends Stadium, we'd be right over here, just to get kind of a sense of where you are. And like if Rose Hours would be out here, you got the highway running back here, and Murdoch's and all that. So just kind of give you a sense of where you guys are in town by the airport. If you've, I'm pretty sure most of you know where Kalispell City Airport is. So let's go ahead and sit up a little higher here, because we're going to come in a little low. And we're just about 50 knots right now, so we're looking pretty good on speed right now. And I think we're clear of that tree right about now. So we're going to go ahead and pull the power back and descend towards the runway. And we're just a bit off to the left of it. It's a little bit of crosswind coming in here. And we'll start our flare. And pull the power all the way off. Yep, a little rough landing there. Not bad though. And we'll just let it roll out. We're not going to use any brakes. Take the next taxiway up here. We'll just go and taxi off the runway. As you can see here at Kalispell City, there's no tower. It's on what's called a unicom, meaning it's one frequency, and everybody talks on one frequency just to tell everybody where they are in relation to the airport and what their intentions are. So we're just going to go and pull off right here. And as we're taxiing off, we're going to go and raise the flaps. And I'm going to go and turn off my land lights and leave the taxiways on, actually. Sit back down here so I can see. Taxiing back in a nice steady 20 knots, so we'll just go and pull back in at our original position down here. slow down here. Pull into the taxiway, and we're just going to go ahead and pull in and park right over here and call it a day. Alright, we are right back to where we started. Set the parking brake, and then we're going to shut down the engine by just pulling out on the fuel mixture control. And there we go. And left the fuel pump on too, that's okay. Turn the key to off. Fuel pump is now off. Strobes, nav, and taxi are off. Beacon's now off. And looking good there. We're going to go and turn avionics off, and master battery is now off. We'll go and open our doors. And that's all there is to it, guys. So I thank you for watching my first video here in the Cessna 172 Skyhawk with a little VOR flight and flight basics and a little cockpit orientation. So until next time, guys, take care, and we'll see you later.